Hello, welcome back to another episode of Money Script Monday. My name is Gabriel Lindemann. I'll be your presenter today. Today, we're going to be talking something that's dear to my heart. Is college still worth it? A couple months ago on Fox News, Tucker Carlson did a great piece that did a 6-week special just on this topic. Is college still worth it? Before we get started, I know what you're going to say. Well, Fox News, Tucker Carlson, it probably has a little bit political spin on it. It wasn't political at all. It was the most unpolitical piece I've ever seen done on Fox News and just went over raw data. But one of the things that I really took away was these are legit problems that we're having students going to college, families trying to pay for college. All these problems can be avoided if hiring a college planner. So as we go through this segment, I want to think about the problems, the issues, and how this can be relieved by hiring a college planner. So with that in mind, let's get started. The cost of college. College is expensive. As I said before on some of my other episodes, that college is a business. These universities make a lot of money by accepting criteria for different students. They have regiments, criteria, algorithms that say what kind of student they're looking for at any given year. With that being said, it's very competitive. Since 1971 to 2017, the cost of college to go to a public 4-year, not a private school. We're not talking about Harvard or Yale or Pepperdine or USC. We're talking about a public 4-year university. 209%. That's from $10,832 to $33,479. Nothing's changed. Same school. So basically you're going to the same UC or state school, same education, same everything. It's gone up 209%. Take that in consideration versus other things we have in life. I'm blessed enough where I have an 18-month-old daughter. She drinks a lot of milk. We go through maybe a couple gallons a week. Now, can you imagine if milk went up 209%? That's outrageous. I mean, can you imagine how much we'd be paying $20, $30 for a gallon of milk? Now let's apply that to something else. What about gas? In California, we talk about if gas prices go up a quarter, a nickel to a quarter, everyone gets outrageous. I mean, I get upset about that too. But can you take in consideration if it went up 209%? It'd be like driving in Europe. We wouldn't be using gallons, we'd be using liters just to make it sound more affordable. A gallon of gas would be $15. That's outrageous. But for some reason, in the university level, that's okay. It's just common practice. Nobody raises an eye. It's what happens in society. It's not right, but we need to, because even though it's not right, it's the world we live in and it's what we have to address and overcome. The second point we wanted to address that Tucker made a big point is student loans. Student loans are killing society. This is the first time that students are graduating where when they get out, they have mortgage payments. Like mortgage payment like debt. It's like buying a home, student loans. You don't know. People actually have to consider, is my degree in my college worth it based on what I'm going to have to pay for the next 20 to 30 years? 40 million students have student loans right now. That's outrageous. That in itself is scary. In 1993, the average student loan was $9,300. That's still a lot of money. That's damn near $10,000, which is a lot of money by any standards, especially for a college student that's going to graduate. But still, that's somewhat doable. You can pay that off even if you get a job, first year out of college making $50,000 to $75,000. You could pay it off in 1 or 2 years and still live comfortably. Now let's apply that. Today, the average student loan is $34,000. That's a game changer. That's the equivalent of, people buying their first car, down payments for their first homes, and in some parts of the country, you can get a nice condo for that kind of money. That's incredible. And again, if we review it, same college, same university, same education, same opportunities, but it's gone up 209%. But more scary is the debt, $34,000. It's crippling society. College students are graduating with this mortgage-like debt, and they don't know what to do with it. Most students don't calculate future loan payments. That's a big issue. When you get student loans, a lot of times you're in college, you're a freshman, you're a sophomore, and you just need more money. Things got expensive. The books for a class could be a couple $1,000s. You don't have that. You're working part-time in college. So you have to finance it. And what happens is you go to the banks, you go to the school, you fill out the FAFSA forms, you go to the bank and you fill out, student loan forms. They give you the money. It's pretty easy for any college student to get, money if they need it. but nobody tells you, okay, this is what your debt's going to be. We're going to loan you out another $10,000, $15,000 for the semester, but we're going to charge you 20%. That's huge. That's criminal. That's legal loan sharks right there that we're living with. Another point is 50% of students that have debt, they don't think they're going to pay it back. They don't know how. They get out, they're going to be working a job paying them $50,000, $60,000, $75,000 for a few years, but they owe 34, and that's the average. So we're going to see people that owe $50,000 to $100,000 very easy. They don't think they're going to pay it back. They figure they're going to keep it for the rest of their life. What's really scary about that is that student loan debt is one of the few debts that bankruptcy you can't even get rid of. So you're going to have that debt forever. You're going to have it while you're a grandparent. There's possibilities. Now, 1/3 of dropouts, 1/3 of students that are in college that have those high debts drop out. It's nearly impossible to pay off that student loan debt. Think about it. If you get a job and you can make $50,000, $75,000, it's going to take time. You can do it over a long haul. But if you drop out and you can't get those good jobs and you're only making $25 minimum wage, $25,000, $30,000, and you owe $50,000 in student debt, it's impossible, statistically impossible, to pay off those debts. Your children will inherit those debts eventually. There's no way to get rid of it. You're going to be owing debt for the rest of your life. And what's that going to do? It's going to prevent you from, doing achievements. It's going to prevent you from buying your first home. It's going to prevent you from buying your first car. Your credit's going to be really bad. So that's going to prevent you from possibly jobs in the future because everyone looks at credit so important. 40% of graduates are working a job where they do not need a degree. That's incredible. So you're graduating college. You have maybe, political science degree, a liberal arts degree, and then you need to get a job. You can't get a job in the profession you studied for, so you just get a job because you need to get paid the bills and pay off those student loan debts. But you didn't really need a college degree, so you spent all that money and you're working a field that doesn't require a college degree. That's kind of a waste of money, a waste of time, because you didn't need to take on that debt to be in that job. Again, this isn't really the student's problem or the parent's fault. It's because they weren't educated. If they would have had a college planner to guide them along the way, it would have helped them. So this takes me to our last, most important point. That's why you want to work with a certified college planner. You want to make college affordable. A college planner is going to sit there and say, you know what? You want to be an educator. You want to be a college professor. You want to be a elementary school teacher. Those are noble, great professions. Great professions. Honestly, they're one of the most important professions in our society, but they don't get paid that much. They don't get paid $100,000, $200,000. They should. They deserve to, but they don't. So that being said, do you really need to have your student go to Harvard to become, a professor that's only going to be making $50,000, $60,000, or a second grade elementary school teacher making $40,000 to $50,000, meanwhile having $100,000 in debt? Or you could go to a good state school, get done in 4 or 5 years, graduate, start making it, and have a third less of college debt. You don't know this until you're working with a college planner. Or it's beneficial to find out which schools cater towards maybe a liberal arts degree, so that way you can specialize in that field and become a better teacher. Again, you don't know this until working with a college planner. This is one of the benefits. Decide future loan payments. The college planner is going to work with you to find out what you can afford today, what you can afford in the future, and how are you going to pay it back. Everyone wants to be optimistic and they can pay everything back. I'll just work off to pay off those loans. Well, I don't know if you crunch the numbers, it's almost impossible if you're making $40,000, $50,000 to pay off a student loan that you have $100,000, $200,000. It doesn't make sense. You need to work with a college planner to make sure that you can afford it, give you a timeline how you're going to pay it off, and more importantly, give you a blueprint, an idea how you're going to do it, and actually hold you accountable to doing it. And lastly, most importantly, assesses best schools for the specialty. Not every student needs to go to the top tier school for their profession. There's great schools out there. There's a lot of great private schools, four-year schools that offer great, education. They offer much better scholarship, much better financial aid packages. Maybe they're not the big names of Pepperdine or USC or Harvard, Yale, but they offer great opportunities. Working with a college planner, you're going to say, hey, you can go to Harvard and pay $200,000, or you can go to Chapman and pay $50,000. Here's the good news. We're going to get you 90% financial aid package over there. So school is going to be damn near free. That's wonderful. And again, you don't know this until you're working with a college planner to go over the pros and cons on every situation. So as we talked before, we talked about the problems, the cost of college. It's very expensive. 209% is very scary. Lastly, we talked about because of the increase in cost, students have more debt than they ever had before. And it's ruining futures for these students because they're not going to be able to buy cars, they're not going to be able to buy their first homes, and it can possibly hurt them trying to apply for jobs if they have bad credit. And lastly, the solution is while you're watching this article, this series that we're going to post the links to after the end of this video, think about it. All the problems can be alleviated from working with a certified college planner. With that in mind, if you have any questions, please contact a certified college planner to prevent your family from being a statistic. Thank you very much.